This 17 News at Noon podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Well, good day. I'm Elena Rusk. In the trial of Matthew Queen, who is accused of torturing and killing a man in what has become known as the Bakersfield 3 case, will be presided over by Judge Charles R. Bremer in Department 4 of Kern County Superior Court. The Queen trial is assigned to Bremer's courtroom this morning, with proceedings tentatively scheduled to begin March 21st. Jury selection in this trial could last weeks. The trial is expected to take roughly 45 days. Queen is also charged with multiple firearm, kidnapping, and threat offenses stemming from other incidents. Queen and ex-girlfriend Bailey Despot are accused of torturing and killing Micah Holsenbake. Despot, Holsenbake, and a third person, James Kolstad, were acquaintances dubbed the Bakersfield 3 after being killed or going missing within months of each other in 2018. And the trial of a man accused of driving impaired on a New Year's Eve 2020 crash that killed 3 of his passengers has been set for June. 22-year-old Adam Teasdale is scheduled to stand trial June 27th on 3 counts of gross vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated and DUI causing bodily injury. Teasdale allegedly drove under the influence when he swerved, went over a median, and hit a tree on Brimhall Road near Jewetta Avenue. Timothy Michael Wilson, Devin Lee Atha, and Andrew Nicholas Ortiz, all aged 20, were thrown from his car and died. A 4th passenger suffered minor injuries. Police reports say nitrous oxide canisters and a nearly empty bottle of Fireball whiskey were found at the crash scene. And heads up drivers, Westbound Highway 178 is currently closed in the canyon after a crash between a car and a motorcycle. The California Highway Patrol says that crash happened about 10:40 this morning near Democrat Road. Officers closed the westbound lanes coming out of Lake Isabella at Kern Canyon Road for an emergency helicopter to land. So far, a cause for the crash and the extent of the injuries has not been released. All right, new here on 17 News at Noon. Everyone is talking about it, the staggering gas prices that have now hit record highs. In his weekly press conference this morning, Congressman Kevin McCarthy agreed with a proposal to suspend the gas tax.
I think that would be smart. Let's $2,000 more people are going to have to pay simply because their policies are wrong. But that's not a long-term solution because that gas tax goes to the transportation bill. So what you really need to do is raise the production in America. So that would lower the price, it would lower inflation, more Americans would be working, America would be stronger. We could become not just energy independent, but energy dominant.
So let's take a look at the current gas prices, which surpassed record national highs yesterday and have climbed more than 10 cents again today. AAA reports the national average is now $4.25. California's average, a staggering $5.57. Here in Kern County, our average, $5.43. To find the cheapest gas at a station near you, head over to the gas tracker on our website, kget.com. It's under that traffic tab. Last night, Governor Gavin Newsom delivered his State of the State address, and these skyrocketing gas prices took center stage in his speech.
Now, it's clear we have to go farther. And that's why, working with legislative leadership, I'll be submitting a proposal to put money back in the pockets of Californians to address rising gas prices.
In his 4th State of the State address, the governor announced that he is proposing a tax rebate in response to the rising prices of oil and gas. Administration officials said they're still working on the details, but said eligibility would begin with California residents who own a car. That includes undocumented immigrants. The governor will try to get this passed through the state budget negotiations, usually held at the end of June, but his office says he's pushing it to make a reality sooner. Other topics the governor highlighted included his CARE court proposal to get the severely mentally ill off the streets and into treatment, and he also mentioned the need to address crime with new strategies. Kern's lawmakers were quick to weigh in on Governor Newsom's address. 17's Maddie Gannon has more on what they had to say last night.
Good evening, everybody.
At the podium Tuesday night, amid record-high gas prices in California, Governor Gavin Newsom drilled down on his stance to limit oil production within state lines.
One thing we cannot do is repeat the mistakes of the past by embracing polluters, drilling even more oil.
The issue hits particularly close to home in Kern, California's #1 oil-producing county. And local lawmakers were quick to point that out Tuesday night.
Californians don't want any more rhetoric. They want results. And so we have solutions. I've called for more domestic energy production to deal with the rising gas prices and what's going on in the Ukraine and getting us off of Russian oil.
Bakersfield Assemblyman and Vice Chair of the Budget Committee, Vince Fong, said the governor's policies has made California more dependent on foreign oil. In a similar sentiment, Bakersfield Congressman Kevin McCarthy sent a letter to the Newsom administration Tuesday night, calling on the governor to reconsider California's current oil and natural gas posture. Meanwhile, on the other side of the aisle, Kern Democratic Senator Melissa Hurtado is also focused on the price at the pump, saying, quote, "We are on the brink of an energy, food, and water crisis. The cost of gas is one of many challenges we will face ahead of us." Both Hurtado and Fong pointed to one part of Newsom's speech, where he said he would give a tax rebate to Californians to address soaring gas prices.
Well, the governor is providing a lot of rhetoric, but with no details. Californians are struggling right now with a real affordability crisis, and we see that the most when it comes to gas prices.
In a statement, Hurtado wrote, quote, "The governor did not provide many details of his plan to lower gas prices, but I will work night and day with my colleagues and the governor's office to provide relief to families."
Hello, this is Tim Callahan with Clinica Sierra Vista, and we're excited to unveil the Community Health Center of the Future, our comprehensive care center. It's located right across the street from Memorial Hospital. We have every service under one roof, from family medicine, OBGYN care, dental services for adults and children, behavioral health, and much more. So find your way to better care at Clinica Sierra Vista this year at our comprehensive care center. Visit our website, clinicasierravista.org, for the latest on this project. We'll see you soon.
In education news, while coronavirus numbers decline and mask mandates in schools expire at the end of the week, formal opposition to a pair of state Senate bills concerning kids and the COVID-19 vaccine has reached the school board level. Despite many health officials recommending children receive the coronavirus vaccine, Rosedale Union School District's Board of Trustees doesn't like the idea of it being mandated in schools. They unanimously agreed yesterday to send letters to State Senators Melissa Hurtado and Shannon Grove, urging them to vote against the legislation. One bill is SB 866 that allows minors aged 12 and older to get a vaccine without parental consent. The other, SB 871, would add the COVID-19 vaccine to the list of required vaccinations for California schools and remove exemptions based on personal belief. A new study is finding that schools that implemented mask requirements had fewer COVID-19 cases. The study from Duke University involved more than 1 million students and over 150,000 staff members attending K-12 schools between July and December 2021. Schools that instituted a universal mask requirement reported 72% fewer COVID-19 infections within the schools compared to schools with optional mask requirements. School districts that made wearing a mask optional throughout the study period had over 3 times the rate of secondary transmission. California was included in the districts with that universal masking, but as we mentioned, that mandate ends at midnight on Friday. All right, so let's take a look at the latest COVID-19 case numbers here in Kern County. This morning, the Kern County Public Health announced that only 69 new positive cases of COVID-19 were recorded, but they also added 6 new deaths to the dashboard. State data shows an improvement in hospitalizations, with 77 patients hospitalized with the virus here in Kern County. That's 6 fewer than yesterday, and 13 patients are in intensive care units. That's 3 fewer than yesterday. All right, now to some news around the world as the Russian invasion of Ukraine continues, driving thousands and millions even of refugees into Central Europe. Vice President Kamala Harris is traveling to Poland today, where she is scheduled to meet with the president in Warsaw. Vice President Harris will continue discussions with Poland's leadership there concerning how to best help Ukraine defend itself against this Russian invasion while ensuring our allies of the United States' commitment to NATO. Friday, the vice president will then travel to Romania for talks with their president and Bucharest embassy staff before returning home to Washington. Now, as we've been reporting, CityServe, a faith-based international nonprofit founded in Bakersfield, is on the ground at the border between Ukraine and Poland, assisting refugees fleeing the war in their homeland. Many of these people have crossed the border with only what they could pack into a suitcase or a backpack, and they're feeling the stress and anxiety of leaving everything else behind. But one man is doing what he can to lift their spirits of these exhausted refugees. He towed his grand piano by trailer from his home in Poland to play music for the refugees at this border crossing.
Pray for these wonderful Polish people that are serving their neighbors. They're being good neighbors.
Yep. And also, as we are just moving food across there, keep praying about this. The border is still open. The people in Ukraine, especially in the war zone areas, food is getting scarce. What we're shipping in right now is moving through the church networks. It is incredible what the Lord is doing through the churches, through his people. So again, just thank you from us right here.
Now today, a 747 jumbo jet owned by United Parcel Service will touch down in Warsaw, Poland, and offload 1 million meals to be distributed to churches near the border that are CityServe partners caring for these Ukrainian refugees. That flight, by the way, was donated to CityServe by UPS. We will work to get more updates from our Bakersfield CityServe team as this humanitarian mission continues to unfold. Now, if you are looking to help the refugees, Valley Montessori Academy is collecting baby formula and children's medication that will be sent to Ukraine on a humanitarian flight next week. You can drop off formula, fever reducers, or children's painkillers today at VMA on Venture Way between the hours of 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. And now to local sports. After winning a combined 12 games in their sophomore season in the Big West, the CSUB men's and women's basketball teams are playing in the desert city of Henderson. The Lady Runners are playing against Hawaii right now, and the men's runner team will return to the court tomorrow against top-seeded Long Beach. 17's Taylor Schaub will have more tonight on 17 News at 5 from the Runners at the Big West Championship. All right, and happening today, it has been 1 month since a beloved Mcfarland High School teacher unexpectedly died in his classroom before school. This afternoon, the community will be holding a memorial service for Coach Fernando Alanes in the Mcfarland High School quad area. It begins at 2 p.m., and they say the public is welcome to attend. School officials say Fernando wasn't just a teacher and the school's varsity basketball coach. He was a mentor and a legendary fixture in the lives of his students. There were no students in the classroom at the time, and the cause of his death has not been announced. But he did have a history of health issues leading up to his death. He is very missed, and you can join in that memorial today.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.